Hello and welcome to another edition of the Dugout. It has been close to 19-20 hours since the IPL auctions have been done and dusted, and it's now given us some time to reflect on each team, their strengths and weaknesses. While we were live yesterday, there was a lot happening. But now it is the time has afforded us the luxury of actually looking back at each squad and then picking out their strengths and weaknesses. There may have been certain things we may have missed out while we were doing our live analysis, but that's the beauty of the Dugout, that it allows us time to then really go deep and in depth into each team, and that's exactly what we plan to do in the next half hour, 40 minutes. No, not half hour, 40. We never actually do less than 1 hour.
1 hour, yeah.
So I'm guessing 1 hour. We'll have the usual drill of taking your questions towards the end as well. But we looked at the 11s yesterday, and those videos are already up. So we're not going to spend too much time picking the ideal 11. Also, there is no ideal 11 because while we were picking our 11s, there was agreement, disagreement, and each of you, as I said yesterday, can have your own set of 11. I mean, predominantly it will be the same for all of us. 1 or 2 changes here and there you guys can make, unless of course you do a blunder like us and miss out Rashid Khan completely. That is something that's never going to happen,
which we profusely apologize for.
Yeah, but you know, in live programming that tends to happen. It's you know, hindsight is always 20/20 vision.
Yeah, but then we apologize to our family members for doing that, and it will not be repeated.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is now try and pick who we think could be the top 4 contenders based on the squads that they've picked. So we're looking at the entire squads, not just 11, the entire strength of the squad. You remember, you know, now it's also going to increase to almost 2.5 months from 2 months. So the longevity and fitness and all of that comes into play. So looking at the entire squads, who we think are the top contenders for top 4. And as always is the case on a Dugout or on Sports Day, we're never in agreement, and I have a feeling it's going to be pretty much like that. The only request that I've made to Siddharth is there is no restriction on who he wants to pick, who he wants to eliminate. The only request I've made for him is to troll no. I've actually not even asked you not to troll. You can troll RCB as much as you want, even that is allowed. But you cannot rub their noses into the ground. So please be as dispassionate in your assessment of them. You can still troll them.
Yeah.
I don't blame you for the Kaveri water not coming to your state from that state, so you hold that grudge.
That's okay. I mean, see, you live with your enemies, you live with your friends, you live with your neighbors, you still live with them.
Yeah, no, so I love that you troll them. That's fine. You're allowed to do that. Yes. And you're allowed to do that.
It will be very, very dispassionate.
Yeah.
Okay, despite whatever is the rating, despite whatever it is, looking at team performance only, will the assessment be made?
Yeah, correct. And I don't know what are the parameters that you guys have taken. I have my own set of parameters that I have looked at. Like for example, I've looked at batting strength separately. I've looked at bowling strength separately in terms of spinners and pacers.
Same.
And I've looked at captain also, because I think he plays a major role. So I've also looked at the captaincy factor, and I've looked at the backup factor. So as in, a lot of teams you know, look very good on paper when they make the 11, but when you start looking at the backup, then they are thin, and if one guy is out of form, you want to make changes, it just doesn't help. So
barring one, I have the exact same 3 parameters, barring one.
Yeah, so those are the things that we've looked at. Harshit's also worked really hard. He's still working, making his notes. So let's see.
Just an afterthought. So yeah, making some corrections.
Yes. No, that's fine. So let's see what is it that we agree on, and what is it that you guys think of. We'll of course take your comments in the end, and as I've often said, that your comments really help us look at it in a different perspective, and that's the beauty of cricket, right? More so the IPL, because opinions are so varied. Like for example, I put like a thought on Twitter saying that Rahane could be a good captaincy option. I got so much hate for that. Like, you know, what are you even thinking? Which age are you living in? But quite frankly, I still feel he's the best captain available to that team. Yeah. The problem is whether you play him in the 11 or not is another thing. Yeah. But in terms of pure captaincy, he's such a sharp captain. I've seen him captain. I've spoken to people who've seen him captain at different stages in all format. Yeah. He's a very, very good captain. But yeah, fitting him in the 11 is.
Exactly, because there's also that thought when it comes to Ajinkya Rahane, and it's just a cricketing thought per se, that you don't force the captain on the team. You build the
You make your team and then choose
exactly.
the
You
captain
choose
rather
your
than
best.
the other.
Yeah, you choose your
CSK
best.
doesn't always do.
Exactly, but
Though they're now doing it.
exactly. And now again, like I said, I remember saying that yesterday. The de facto captain is someone else, and they work a different way altogether. They've
But they're successful.
they're
so
successful.
why is it that teams can't
But
do
at
that?
one point, that one gentleman we were talking about as well was really Mr. IPL for all the reasons out there. So you actually make your best 11, and then choose the best leader of those best 11. That's how it ideally should work.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
So yes, I mean the captaincy around the IPL has been very much magnified. Rohit Sharma, MS Dhoni, they magnified that aura of a IPL captain who leads from the front and ensures that the team does well. So yeah, new season, when we look at it, a new 3-year cycle, yes, the captaincy will play a role. Indeed.
And in IPL, not just IPL actually, I feel in T20 cricket captains play a major role.
Yes.
In test match, because even if you make small mistakes here or there as captain, that's fine, because it's such a long format that it allows you to make a comeback. Like one bowling change here and there will not really change a test match altogether. Whereas in T20, the margin of error is so short. One change here or there, one over here or there, game's done. So that's why captaincy plays a major role, which is why when I look at teams, I look at who the captain is. And that does make a difference, as we've seen with results. So good teams with average captaincy have plummeted. Average teams with good captaincy have gone on to win titles as well. So that's the factor. Okay, our same drill as always. We're going to have each of us pick one team. And if that team figures in our list, we can have that. But I would love it if you've got it in order. I'll also try to put it in my order as to why. And so supposing you've picked hypothetically you pick KKR, and if KKR is also in my thing, it will come in my ranking. But I'll put it in the ranking that it is in the top 4.
Top 4. Okay.
But it will come there, and I'll give my reasons. So we could start with Siddharth, and then let's see wherever.
Okay, so my team, who I think could be in the top 4, but will finish in the 2nd position.
Why don't you start with the first? No.
No, I think I have a better candidate at first.
So why don't you start by telling us first? Is my point. I'm not telling you. Okay, you want to start with second.
Second,
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
I will start off with Chennai Super Kings. Top 4 candidate, and I think a definite top 2 in my opinion, for 2 reasons. Number 1, the spin bowling attack that they have picked for Chepauk. It is an indication that yes, you're going back to the old template which served Chennai Super Kings very well. On top of that, I think you have also covered up for if you go outside of Chepauk. So for example, I'm just giving a situation. If Ashwin does well in Chepauk, he's only a Chepauk only spinner.
Yeah.
A Noor Ahmed can be done for outside of Chepauk. Say for example, Mullapur, in Arun Jaitley Stadium, in Savai Mansingh, Mumbai, Bengaluru, all those places he can be a very good pick for the spinning option. Second, now their batting looks sorted with the arrival of Devon Conway. Last season, what hurt them was the lack of starts at the top. So Rituraj had to move to number 3, but Rachin wasn't firing. And that is why when I look at it, Devon Conway and Rituraj shoring up the top order, massive boost. Whenever Conway's done well, CSK have done well. So that is why the opening combination, batting also, your middle order is sorted with Shivam Dubey in there. Sam Curran has also come in. He can be the floater. If you want to push him at number 5, number 6, he can come up there as well. Plus, there is a certain thing when 1 or 2 players come to the CSK side, they do well. For example, Rahul Tripathi, under MS Dhoni's captaincy and also under Steve Smith's captaincy in the rising Pune Supergiant, he did very well. And you got the finisher in Ravindra Jadeja, in MS Dhoni and all of them. Shivam Dubey will be the ultimate pivot upon whom the middle order is going to rely upon. So the batting and the bowling is sorted out for steady top order, and which is why I think Chennai Super Kings will want to bounce back from what happened last year. So they are going to finish in the 2nd position. Why I feel not in the top is because you look at outside of Chennai, they may face some problems. they look to reclaim Fortress Chepauk back. So that's why I think for me, CSK will be in the second position.
Okay, so he's got CSK as the first. It's not his first team, but one of the top teams that he's got in his top 4. Do you have them in your top 4?
I don't have
And
CSK in my top
so
4.
what are the reasons that you?
I have a couple of reasons. One, I think there is an Ashwin Noor problem. I don't see Ashwin, Noor, Jadeja, all three playing in the same team. Now, given the kind of money that they've spent on all three, one of course is the retention, the other they've bought for a cumulative sum of about 19 crore. And a little over that, I believe.
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah.
So that 19.70.
Yeah, whatever. So yes, so 19 odd crores, and if you're not playing one of your 9 to 10 crore purchase, I don't quite get the logic, and I think this will be something that they will struggle with. Maybe they do a home and away thing. Ashwin plays home, Noor plays away, but then inconsistency will then creep in, and again, the management could be found guilty of not giving a consistent run to either. Noor can be attacked as well. Let's not forget, if he's not in rhythm, we saw that last year. Now, I see a lot of second and third choice players as well in the team. Look at the likes of Khalil, Tripathi, Vijay Shankar. These are players who will make the 11, but they are nowhere on the fringes of Indian cricket right now. Probably a Khalil is, but that too is maybe stretching a bit, because Harshit Rana and all of these folks have gone ahead of a Khalil also as we speak. You don't know Rahul Tripathi, you don't know Vijay Shankar again.
I have one question. I have one question. Why is it that we Indian players, we look at whether their fringes are not so great? There are a lot of other overseas players that are not even playing international. And Narain and all really come to my mind. A Bolt is one of them. They don't come to my mind. But when we will be judging them, we judge them differently because of what they are. Because a lot of them don't play regularly. So this is one thing that I've seen with the IPL. For example, I used to keep thinking that MS Dhoni not playing international cricket will have that day, but they turn up at international level. Dubey has come into the team now. This time that he wasn't playing, but he would come into the IPL and really blast. So I used to have this, that players who are not in international cricket will have this day, but IPL completely different beast. Some of them come and really explode.
But only some out of, let's say if there's about 100 Indian players playing in it, you'll only have 2, 3, 4 who will then really make a name out of themselves or for themselves from the IPL. So there will be those performers this year as well. But when I look at the bowling as well, yes, there is a Patirana and he gives me certain surety. But again, Khalil, yes, he was good last year. But again, which Khalil turns up, you don't know. Ellis as well, from that hard surface in Mullapur to adjusting to the slowest nature in Chepauk. I don't know how that adjustment also is. Then there's Sam Curran as well. Again, stocks really dipped for him this year, as we saw. He's not at the peak of his powers anymore. I see a lot of uncertainty around CSK at the moment, so they don't feature in my top 4.
So they feature in my top 4. They are not my top 2 teams. So how I have divided my top 4, I have 2 teams that are finalists for me, 2 teams who make the playoff. CSK is that one team that makes the playoff. So they are, you could interchange it, 3rd, 4th, whatever. I've put them there. And the one parameter where they've scored very high for me is their spin department. Yes. I think that and because this has been their formula, I think in Chepauk you're going to get those spin friendly tracks. They're going to dominate in their venue, then travel to certain places like Ekana and so on and so forth, where they will again be helped by spinning track. The rest of the areas that they'll see. The other thing that I've given them a lot of points for is the captaincy. Even though it's not Ruturaj Gaikwad who gets those points, it's because of MS Dhoni's presence, and I think he will be helping him. Though I was also impressed with Ruturaj. He was not a bad captain at all, and he was his own man. We saw that. But I think these are the 2 areas that I've given them, and one other area I've given them a lot of points for in my different parameters is the backup, because I look at the backup. So they've got like backup in fast bowlers as well. You've got a Nathan Ellis there that you might have. You've got Overton, who's an all-rounder. They've got Anshul Kamboj. We spoke a lot about him. Sits there as a backup. Ashwin may still be a backup. Imagine having Ashwin as a backup there if he's not playing. So I looked at it, and then you may even have somebody like a Huda, who's a backup, who's not a bad backup to have.
Plus there
if
is also
Tripathi is
Shreyas
there.
Gopal.
Shreyas Gopal. So I think the backup is also sorted. So in case something is not working out, they have enough to fall back on. So they've made my top 4, but they're not the 2 best team that I see in the IPL. But yes, top 4 nonetheless.
Top 4. Okay.
Harshit's turn now.
Harshit's turn, yeah.
Again, I don't have my teams in any particular order as
Yeah.
in top 2, top 4,
You
but I
could
do
pick
have.
any.
Yeah. So the one team I'm pretty certain about is the Mumbai Indians. I think they've done a very good job. The retentions was spot on. Those were the best retentions they could have gone for. Yes, things didn't go their way, but there was a lot happening at the at the backroom staff level and behind the scenes, which you believe now with the clear statement being made from the ownership that Hardik Pandya is the guy, and they saw what happened when they weren't a cohesive unit, what could happen. But otherwise, the recruits that they made yesterday with the likes of a Bolt coming in, a Chahar coming in, a Santner coming in, in those even slightly windy conditions in Mumbai, I can't imagine how teams are going to cope up with a Bolt, who we know what he can do when he's playing at the Wankhede, and then he's got the company of Chahar as well. So I really like what I see from Mumbai. It's a very, very, it's not just top heavy. It is heavy batting right up till the lower middle order. If you've got a Naman Dheer and you can rely upon a Chahar and a Santner as well, I think they look like a very well-rounded side to me, which has no experience issues as well, which is something I found with a couple of other teams.
For me, yes, I second that. Mumbai is there, but in the 3rd position for me. Because there is a problem at the top with Rickleton. We don't know how he's going to shape up. Plus, yes, you have got 2 wicket-keeper options in Rickleton, and you may want to try out a Robin Mins also. Mins was there for GT, but
in fact, they had bid for Mins last time as well, but they missed out. And Akash Ambani was in particular very happy with the securing the services of Robin Mins. He said that he's been training in one of our programs as well for quite some time now, and they've been keeping a very close eye on him. They missed out last time, but they were very happy this time around. So at this point, in fact, this season, I think he'll be involved as well at some stage for sure.
So that is why the spin bowling department is something that worries me.
But I think their batting compensates.
Yeah, because if you look at the squad of 2020, which I consider the ultimate super squad that has been never assembled in the IPL, okay? Rohit is there, okay, at the top. You've got a Tilak, you've got a Surya, you've got a Hardik, especially in the bowling. Bolt and Bumrah back as the GOAT opening in the bowling department. Last time in 2020, they were simply sensational. Plus, there was a Chahar in the 2020 side, but it was a Rahul Chahar. This time, you've got a Deepak Chahar. Deepak Chahar, for that Wankhede condition, he's going to be lethal. Although, I would say it is a pick between either Santner or Ghazanfar. Santner a better bat than Ghazanfar. Ghazanfar is an off-break.
Ghazanfar, I think, because of the inexperience, may not start in the 11, but
spinner.
Yeah.
So that is why only those 2 factors ensure that, okay, maybe they might go to the playoffs because they are desperate to get to the playoffs after a terrible last season. And we have seen, whenever Mumbai's hit rock bottom, they have gone to the playoffs most of the time.
And it's an odd year.
Not just that. I'm not looking at the odd year, but I think they won't be the top 2. They'll be somewhere in the 3rd position. That's it.
Okay, interestingly, Mumbai doesn't make it to my top 4. I think they were the best team in terms of when they were retaining. I think they did a stellar job, best retention, but I did not like their strategy going into the auction. For me, they are like a mid-table team. They are somewhere 6, 7, somewhere there. I see them based on my analysis. The one area that they scored really high in terms of parameters for me was their fast bowling department, which I think looks very good with a Bumrah, a Bolt, a Deepak Chahar, and so on and so forth. But I thought spinner is not really weak, but slightly weak because Ghazanfar again not tested. You might go in with a Santner. We don't know. So that was the one area that was weak for them previously as well. They've not really addressed that. I know that they play in Wankhede, and so try and concentrate on fast bowling. But it's on occasion when you're going to travel, that will be the thing. The other reason where they've scored really poorly for me is their backup. So they've not got enough backup, and in a long season when things are not working out, if your top 11 is doing very well, then I understand that you're very good. But I'm trying to look at their backups. that they've got. Like in batting, you have like Bevan John Jacobs as a backup.
New Zealand.
Yeah, but again, all untested. In wicket keepers, you got a Robin Mins and Krishna
Krishnan Srijit, yes.
Again, in spinner, you have a Karan Sharma maybe as a backup. Again, past his prime. In your fast bowling, you've got that's the only area.
Karan Sharma was a backup to Glenn Maxwell, and RCB made it to the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. He did well, but he's been there for very long, and I don't think he's like a real match winner kind of a spinner. So the backup,
they have got a fast bowlers. You look at it, Topley.
Fast bowlers, I said, great. Everything is great. That's why I rated them highest in that.
Yep.
It's all other departments. So if your batters are not firing, that's where I think the batting is also good at the moment on the paper. But I also look at some backup batters. So, if you're only going to rely on Rohit, Suryakumar, Tilak and Hardik to do your job, these are going to be, if any one of them is not firing, I don't know what Rickleton will do, what a Naman Dheer might do. I do not know on that.
There's also Will Jacks in this side.
Yes, Will Jacks, but then again, 4 foreigners is going to be really tough for you to then fit. In that case, then you
See,
Gazanfar goes out, Karan Sharma comes in.
Or maybe a Rickleton goes out and a Mins comes in.
Something like that. They'll have to do these things. That's why I said not ideal scenario, making some compromises. So they're not like really bottom for me, but not in the top 4. So that's the
we
thing.
can have MI for Siddharth as well, right?
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
And okay.
For you.
Yeah, for you as well.
So
So
it's NIKHIL'S turn.
my turn. So I'm going to go in the order that I've picked. So my top teams is what I'm going to start with, and my top team, it's a very close fight. In fact, it's a tie. I'll only take one team's name because we'll go one by one. So I'm going with Gujarat Titans. I think they did a stellar job in the auction, and I'm looking at their squad. In fact, I've said it before, they kind of remind me of the old Rajasthan Royals in being very prudent in their selection, very smart. They know exactly what they want, and I'll give credit to the backroom staff led by Ashish Nehra. So they've always done a good job. They'll have a continued sort of a status as well because they kept their core in the auction. So that also continuing with that core, that mentality, you've been a team together, that also helps. We've seen it in the past, like teams like CSK do it, Mumbai do it, but GT is also doing that. So very stable team in that sense. They score very highly on my batting parameter with Gill, Butler there, Sai Sudarshan, good form, Glenn Phillips might come in. Then they have the firepower in SRK Tewatia, Sundar, all of them
Rashid
in that. Yeah, Rashid till 8. So good there, spinners, you can't doubt them once you've got a Rashid, and this Sundar is a different Sundar now with the Indian team on a different high altogether. So they're pretty much 2 all-rounders, both spinners I'm looking at. So gives you that balance. The pacers look very good. Rabada, Siraj, Koitsi. Imagine the kind of pace attack that will come up.
Only one will play though.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I've actually fitted both.
Both, okay.
One. Sorry, I could even take Glenn Phillips out and get another. But I tell you what, you're right. They can play one because the other area that they get a lot of points for me is backup. I'm just going to name. They've got like a Prasidh Krishna sitting there, so he can come in spinner. They've even got a Sai Kishore, so I can look at him come at certain place. They've got Jayant Yadav, who's an all-rounder. I know.
Nishant Sindhu, Mahipal Lomror.
Yeah. So
and even Kareem Jannat for pace.
Kareem Jannat is there for pace.
They've got Arshad as well.
Arshad Khan. Yep. So good backup, good squad, everything all round. The stable captain who was captain previously. They've won a title before. That makes a huge difference. Captain may have changed, but a lot of players still remain. So all of those things put together, GT will be before CSK because I'm actually ranking them in the order that I've selected. In fact, there will be another team that will come before CSK for me so I'm putting it in order. So these are the 2 teams.
GT makes it to my list as well. I think one of the finest jobs that we saw yesterday at the auction table was done by GT, and one of the few teams I can say were really prudent and smart about the way that they went about their business. You look at some of the names, their retentions were good to begin with, and it came as a bit of a shocker as to, with the talent that they had last year, that they finished, so badly. But for what we saw from them over the last 3 years, the core is intact. And have they gotten stronger? I'm just looking at have they gotten stronger or not, and I think they have gotten stronger from where they left off last year. Their bowling unit, I think, is one of the best bowling units I think that any team has. It's one that you will envy. It's centered around a lot of Indian talent, but look at that Indian talent that you're talking about as well. There's a Prasid, there's also Siraj, who's going to be, yes, he's going to be there, and there's got then you've got Rashid, you've got Sundar, there's Kodzi as well, there is a Rabada, so there's plenty of good talent out there. In fact, they're spoiled for choice at this point. Who those top four foreign picks would be. Yes, Kodzi is going to, Rabada is going to be there, Rashid's going to be there. Glenn Phillips, whether he makes it or not is another thing, but Gill gets the support of a Butler now and a Sai Sudarshan, who again impressed a lot last year, so he fits in at number 3, looking like a very promising team to me.
That's why I'm saying they have the kind of bowling lineup on any pitch. So if they go to Wankhede, they can jack up their pace bowling. If they go to a Chepauk, they can play 3. They can even get a Sai Kishore in, because Washington and Rashid give you batting, so you can go with another spinner there.
Absolutely.
So that's the balance that they can work with. That's why I think an incredibly well balanced squad that Gujarat has put.
Even for surfaces like Chennai, let's say, sorry Siddharth.
Yeah, that's what I said, Chepauk spinner.
Yeah, exactly. Because, somebody like a Kodzi comes in very handy because he knows how to take the pace off the ball. He can make use of not Rabada that much, but, and Siraj also I will add, because Siraj more hit the deck and it doesn't quite work at a place like Chennai.
Can be a Wankhede specialist also.
No, but Rabada also can cut pace. Huh?
But Kodzia is a smart operator, as we've seen. So yeah, looking very good to me.
For the first time, I think
all of us agree.
Oh, right.
And they were number 1.
Pawan's clapping also.
Yeah, they were number 1, and they were number 1.
Okay, they are number 1 for you. Yeah.
Yes.
They've done something right for sure. Yeah.
Because it's an all-round team for all conditions. You want spinners, variety, you got it. You want pacers, swing, hit the deck, you've got it. You've got proven performers in the lower middle order, you've got it. Now with Butler and Gill, like how Yashasvi and Butler stole the show for Rajasthan Royals, expect them to do the same this time also. And Shubman Gill will be desperate to ensure that he has a great season. Last year, it was very mixed for him. This year, he wants to make a statement. Butler, we know, one of the overseas goats in the IPL.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that is why, and of course, one more sentimental favorite, A.B. Tewatia, man. That guy, 360, he can really add, of course, since it's guaranteed that they will win 2 games versus Punjab thanks to A.B. Tewatia. Because of A.B. Tewatia. So, GT for me.
Which is the West Indian that's getting targeted over there this time?
That's why I think they may have not picked any West
That's why Punjab's not going. Oh, my.
Exactly.
For the A.B. Tewatia factor. But then they are seriously a damn good team. And they have covered all bases up. And that's why I put them as number 1. They will be the number 1 team in.
Okay, so we're done with one of each choices.
So Siddharth's only left with one.
Siddharth's slot is almost full. So Siddharth, yeah, go ahead.
You can reverse the order. You can.
Yeah,
you can reverse. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
Let's go
see
reverse. So I told you I have 2 teams pretty neck and neck, which I think should be finalists for me. One thing, there's a disclaimer which I want to talk about, that the one thing that I noticed this time is that it's the closest that teams have come together. If each team right now sitting in their homes or their offices, wherever, is confident about making the playoffs, I won't blame them, or confident about winning them, I won't blame them, because on paper they're all very close. I know that IPL is always close, but I'm just going back to my previous auctions. I was always able to pick 2-3 on top, 2-3 at the bottom, and there was a big gap sometime, and it was easy to do it. This has been the toughest for me to really differentiate. The margins for me, because I have a point system that I give based on different parameters, that's how I grade the teams. They've all been either 0.5, 1 point difference, even dare I say from the top to the last team in my grading would at best have 3-4 point difference. That's not much. So what is that telling me? That all team are very well balanced. And while we criticize, going back to the mega auction all the time, saying that why do you want to play with a core? I think this is the advantage of going back, that you allow teams, correct, you just even the playing field, allow teams to come back, and everyone came with a strategy, and most teams seemed happy. So, what they wanted, they've got. It's just the perspective that changes as to how you're looking. And the problem arises, that's what I'm saying. So, you grade them, you look at the balance and break it down into different parameters as I've done. The problem arises is, I'm just giving an example, like, if it's a KKR, you don't know whether Narain experiment works, doesn't work this time. It works great, doesn't. Which Russell comes, you don't know. Which Maxwell comes for a team, you don't know on a given day. So those are the areas. If they are all firing based on their form, and if we knew that all of them are going to perform to their ability, then it's pretty easy, I can tell you. But once the tournament starts, who's playing to their potential, who's not, we don't know, and that's when then your predictions tend to go wrong. So that's just the one thing. So yeah, my second team, and I'm only grading them to be a finalist, is that I'm hoping that everyone that they've got plays to potential, and if they play to potential, then I think KKR is my other team that I've picked. This may turn a lot of heads, but I think once again they've kind of kept their core, even though that meant splurging a lot for someone like a Venkatesh Iyer, but they've kept their core. Their retentions were also fantastic. Other than not being able to keep Shreyas Iyer, all the other proven performers, the ones that helped them win a title are there, and they've managed to do that. Again, the highest grading they've got for me is in the batting department. Just look at that. They'll have a QDK Narain open. Even if it's not QDK, you've got a Gurbaz, so a good backup there. You get a Raghuvanshi at number 3. You got a Venkatesh Iyer, a Rinku Singh, Andre Russell, Ramandeep. All of that. Anukul Roy. I mean, you can have a very good, and then Harshit was doing well. Chakravarti as your spinner. So Narain as the other spinner. They've got a lot of things covered in terms of the only two areas where I think they're slightly I graded them a bit low. One is their pace attack, because I don't know Nokia's form, how he's going to be. So I'm a bit worried about that. But they have got good backups, so they rate very highly in terms of backups.
Spencer Johnson is there.
Yes. Umran's also there.
Umran is there. They've got good, decent backups. So that I think should cover up for the weakness that they have in their pace bowling department. But I guess maybe, though Eden has changed over the years, who knows, it goes back to the Eden of 4-5 years ago, where spinners ruled, right? So
not the Eden that dished out 250, 260, 270.
Not that.
And PBKS chased it down though.
So that's my other team. So for me, GT and KKR are the two. So KKR will have to come before CSK in terms of my ranking. So they're looking like the two strongest teams for me. Yes.
And I give you company over there.
Nice.
Because KKR does make
it. KKR is second, Pawan, for me. GT, then KKR.
Because KKR take a lot of boxes for me, and much like Mumbai Indians, I think that they'd already ticked a lot of boxes even before entering, or even going to Jeddah for that matter. They did a bloody good job retaining the core, and it's priceless. People might think, because they were seriously one of those teams like a Mumbai Indians of the past, or even the Mumbai Indians of right now, who just did not need to press the reset button. There are other teams that were forced to press the reset button, and they would have done some good shopping as well, and they have. But KKR, that core that they've retained, every single one of them is a match winner. And the fact that they couldn't retain their title winning captain just tells you how much more it would have meant to keep these guys than let go of your captain. I think that tells you a story in itself. Because captains, we touched upon the role of a captain in the game's shortest format. So imagine with that value that a Shreyas Iyer brought to the side, they had to let go of him, because every single player that they've retained, including somebody who looks like a good prospect in Ramandeep Singh, does look like a very good prospect as well. He's athletic, he can score. As a bowler, yes, maybe dibbly-dobblies here and there, but that can be worked upon as well. I think this looks like a very well-rounded side, even though you may have cast aspersions about the Narain experiment not working. But again,
I hope it works. That's why it's
exactly.
There. But I'm saying.
But exactly, I'm just taking into account like how wrong can it also go. And even though there is a bit of a captaincy dilemma that they may be faced with, but I seem to have made my mind that Venkatesh Iyer is their captain, which is why the big bucks went for him, and not perhaps his true all-round ability. But again, he's inheriting a team that's already, it's like, just ensuring that the well-oiled machine that he's been given to operate just works the same way. It doesn't have to do much.
Even for that Narain thing, they do have the option of then going back to a QDK and Gurbaz. Where then Narain then comes down. They'll have to sacrifice a Nokia in that, but they'll get pace bowlers then to come in, Indian pace bowlers to come in. And
they had 5 bowlers last year that picked in excess of 15 wickets. Now that was just enviable stuff. So they were clearly the best bowling unit out there.
Yeah,
And
Venkatesh Iyer will say, I'll do the second fast bowling job. Let the spinners come.
Unless Delhi
No,
Capitals don't allow to settle him.
No, because they are one of the rare teams where even the new ball, their spinners can do the job.
Yeah.
So you can
Sunil,
make do with just two fast bowlers also. I mean.
Siddharth, spotlights on you. Do you make it 3 on 3?
No. KKR is not there in my list because I think the problem of plenty could hurt them in a big way because they have got all bases covered. But the captaincy conundrum, is it Rahane? Is it Venkatesh Iyer? Mostly we are looking at Venkatesh Iyer because of the big bucks that's been given. Okay, the Narain experiment, somewhere down the line, it's a gamble. It worked last year and Narain set the game up for them most of the time. With the ball, he will be economical. There is no issue. But then if teams can figure out how they can play Narain well, then I think KKR kind of don't have a plan B to stop the run flow. Russell, injury prone, I don't know whether it can go on in this way. So that's why maybe problem plenty, and there is a reason why there are not so many defending champions also. Because somewhere down the line, in one particular period, they may be caught out. So that's why, but they are a fantastic team. Let's make no mistake about it. KKR for the top order and everything else, for the bowling resources, it's envious. But somewhere I think they might suffer a slump and they may not be able to recover from the slump. Narain experiment worked the last time, it may not work this time. Russell, injury with age catching up, maybe he might not be that potent. Nortje, Spencer Johnson, we don't know how good they will be. Vaibhav Aroda and also Harshit Rana, yes, they have retained the core. Slightly difficult. I think they'll be missing out in that 4th, 5th position slugfest that might happen.
Okay. Harshit, you want to go for your 4th team, your turn?
I think if over 2 years there's anything you know about me, you should know what the 4th team will be.
But
this time,
there's a fan in you coming out.
But this time, again, I don't think I had them in my team top 4 last year. But this time I think I have reason to. And for a reason, I was, by the end of the auction, I had a smile on my face because Delhi did not do typical Delhi stuff and make a joke out of themselves. They left it for other teams, maybe just one out there to do that yesterday. But I think at the auction, the only worry for Delhi last year was death bowling. The fast bowling didn't quite click. It went wrong with Khalil and Mukesh and Nokia, who was unfit. But all of that seems to be sorted out. Now you've got a Stark. Now you've got a Nattu, who was good last year.
Yeah.
So I think whatever bridges that you have to or the holes that you had to plug, I think you did that in the auction. And does it look like a team that is very affected because of the loss of Rishabh Pant? Perhaps not. Because again, I'm not going to get into Rishabh Pant's numbers, but look at I look at it in a way that this is a team, as far as batting is concerned, has the right mix of power and patience. There aren't just players who operate in 5th gear. There are those as well who can slow the tempo down if need be and can just shoot it up as well. Stubbs, I remember, for that matter, had the highest strike rate in the death last year. Between over 16 to 20, he had the highest strike rate last year, or the second highest. He was only bettered by, I think, one of the Hyderabad players. But regardless, I think this is a very well-rounded team and they should be making the top 4.
I'm seated to your left. Delhi has gone left in this IPL auction.
Delhi have gone right, Siddharth. They've done the right thing.
No, with the pace bowling attack, they have gone left. I mean, if you look at it, Natarajan, Stark, even the spinners,
But
Kuldeep, Aksar.
So left is right for them.
Left is right for them. But then again, I'm not so sure with Delhi Capitals because they self-destruct. KL Rahul and Jake Fraser McGurk at the top. Okay, KL Rahul, we know that he's ice, but he gets frozen with his batting. He can't seem to up the tempo in T20s. That's why he's fallen out of favor. Okay, plus now yet again the captaincy might go to him. He might be your captain for Delhi Capitals.
I'm taking it that he is the Delhi Capitals captain.
Okay, Jake Fraser McGurk for me is a major concern. Because now teams, he was an unknown. With the high batting stance that he's got, with the baseball-like stance that he's got, I think he will be found out in this auction. So if Rahul can't perform, Jake Fraser McGurk doesn't get in with the returns. Basically, okay, your number 3 might be an Abhishek Porel, right? Your top 3 is very vulnerable. That is the reason.
In fact, vulnerability is the not word I will use, because I'm guaranteed. The way I'm looking at KL's recruitment is I'm guaranteed 400, 450 runs, and that is a big assurance to have.
But just runs, not strike rate.
His strike rate, I think, overall is 135,
134. He's only second
Yes.
behind the likes
So,
of Pant and ahead of IYER.
When I look at it, see, having two explosive batters can go one way, as it was the case with SRH last year, right? Two
Yeah.
explosive batters. But once they get out early, what happens? That we saw not once but twice in the playoffs. So I look at this, which is why I said I look at this as a team which has, the right mix of power and patience.
Okay.
If a KL Rahul is 140, then a Jake Fraser-McGurk can bat at 170, 180.
But also the fast bowling. Is Arun Jaitley Stadium going to dish out a very true wicket? Because it
No,
was...
it will be a belter. I think it will be
So,
a belter.
yeah.
Big scoring. It will be.
It will be. So that is where, okay, Nattu in that belter, you have to understand, he took 5 wickets for SRH last time against Delhi Capitals. But then Stark with his waywardness, now that waywardness is creeping in far too consistently for me. So that is why I think somewhere the spinners are no issue. That's your biggest strength, Delhi Capitals.
And the pitch doesn't matter.
Pitch for them doesn't matter, but Pacers, that's a caution for me. That's why I haven't kept them in their top 4 and also the top 3. If Jake Fraser-McGurk doesn't fire, then your top 3 is very vulnerable.
So, Harshit, DC came very close to making it to my top 4. In fact, they're my 5th ranked team. They just missed out by a whisker. So, they were competing with another team, which I'll tell you, which will be my 4th team. But I came very close, which means that they put together a very good squad. What I like about them is the balance. So, there's no, like for certain teams, I saw one area where they were outstandingly good, like Pacers. Some are very good with their batting. This is one team which is, very good in all departments. But the thing is that they didn't be the best in that department across all formats. So, they're not 9 on 10 in one department, but they're 8 on 10 on all. So they've covered everything very well. So very well balanced squad, but they just missed out by a tiny whisker in my top 4. I like the batting that they've got. Minor weaknesses here and there. We don't know Harry Brooks' form, how Stubbs is going to be. McGurk recently hasn't been doing well, but I know last season was outstanding. Porel was an experiment they did. I don't know whether that will continue doing well. They got good firepower. Rizvi, Ashutosh. So not the best batting lineup, but not the worst either. Very good. In fact, in the top few batting lineups. Spinners also got good in Kuldeep and Akshar. They can be expensive on occasion. If you've got a belter, then they can be expensive. That's the one area that I see that they can be taken apart. Same for your bowling. I think you've got a good, very good, better than most sort of a bowling lineup, but not the best again, but better than the most. You've got good backups and you've got a good captain also. Not the captaincy, I'm not it's not in the best thing, but at least an experienced captain in that sense, which you will have KL Rahul. So as I said, they didn't ace any department, but they weren't bad in anything either. Better than average, good. I would say very good in all department, not excellent in anything. So they just barely missed out in my top 4. So I also haven't got them. So I think Harshit's top 4 are done, but it's only Siddharth and me that can choose one more team. Siddharth, you go. Maybe it could be my team. If not, then I get a chance.
Okay, so let's. I'll try to ensure your shock quotient is a bit low. I criticize them, and I still criticize them for their auction strategy.
Don't tell me now.
I am leaving.
I am going to catch your neck
If it is what I think it
and
is.
murder you.
Exactly.
I'll tell
Don't try to make up for your.
No, I'm not making it up.
I am not sure. If
I'm not
this
making
will
it
take
up.
a life away.
It can. Yeah,
It
I'll
can,
give you
see.
another
So
one.
you've
It's
got to
right
take
here.
it away from me.
Okay, I'll do the honors
No,
myself.
like what has happened over
No, I'll tell you.
You gave them 2 out of 10.
Exactly.
yesterday.
I'll tell you. Okay, this team doesn't do well at all in the auctions. Doesn't, for the choice of players that's there. But you've seen individually.
Did you get death threats?
No, I didn't get death threats.
I can't believe. I'm lost for words.
Exactly.
Okay, this same team, they go only on individual brilliance.
It's like one time he was dancing in the aisles in the studio when CSK has won. Next moment he said, I never supported CSK.
No,
It's exactly right. He gave
No,
them 2
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you
Try
why.
another language because for whatever you're about to say, it's just going to shoot off my head now. It's just going
Okay,
to bounce off.
last time, everybody said that RCB are no hopers. Okay, they had lost 6 out of 7.
Yeah, then they won 6, 7, 8, whatever.
6,
on the
7
top.
on the trot.
Yeah.
Okay, Now, did they play as a team? No.
See, Siddharth, I am not for one saying that you are not allowed to pick RCB. Of course, anyone is.
Yeah.
And I don't think they've picked a bad squad and everyone will have their own judgment. Each of us are free to pick. But coming from you,
Yeah.
you gave them a meager
That-
2 out of 10 last
Exactly.
night. And now you're saying
Now,
suddenly.
no, I'll tell you why.
Again, you rightly said again, it could have been a Shashwat or a Gulati sitting here and,
No, I'll tell you-
I
I would have been fine because
You
I
would
know
have
they
picked
would have
RCB,
gone
I would have
at
been
210.
fine.
I'll tell you why. Because they defy auction
पानी
trends.
पिला दो यार.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't say it.
They defy auction trends. Did they play as a team and reach the playoffs last time? No, they didn't. There were so many gaping holes. So many of them. But they still somehow scraped through. Last year was an indication that made me feel that, okay, I should not believe in certain trends that is there. Okay, they are far from the perfect team. RCB have never been a perfect team. But they have still made it to playoffs.
What is it that you've picked them to make it for the playoff? What are their strengths?
Okay,
So you're
I'll
trying to tell me you gave them 2 out of 10 yesterday because of poor auction strategy.
Yes.
They've assembled a bad squad.
They
so
have
you gave
assembled a
them
bad
2.
squad, yes.
Yet you think they'll make it top
They
4.
will
How?
make it to the playoffs because on certain batting exploits by 1 or 2 players. Okay? Topping the charts is Virat. Okay? He is the fulcrum upon which RCB's entire momentum is built upon.
So you're saying he will now come back as captain and so you will see the 2016 Virat.
Not the 2016 Virat, somewhere close to that, but not the 2016. No one can ever
Okay.
replicate 2016. Okay. Then the typical RCB template: 1 or 2 batters step up. Because yet again, I don't have that much of confidence in their bowling. You have a Hazelwood, you have a Bhuvneshwar. Okay. But at the same time, RCB's template has been 1 key batter in Virat fires, the rest play 1-2 good knocks, and somehow, some way, RCB make it to the playoffs. See, is that any kind of coincidence that despite having the worst team that they may have assembled, 2020, 2021, 2024, even they reached qualifier 2 in 2022. How could they make it? It's because 1 or 2 players are consistently chipping in. And I don't see that trend being broken because RCB have got Virat Kohli. We were the ones who said, I'm still maintaining it. Virat is the captain. And if he's the captain, there is extra motivation for them going for the title this time around. And that's why I placed them at 4. They'll be in that slugfest. And last time their home performances improved. This time also, looking at it, their home performances might be there. They just need 1-2 results going their way away. That is why.
Are they in your top 4?
I have seen, no, my top 4 are anyway.
Oh, yours are done. Sorry.
But
Yeah.
I think I've seen everything live today.
Okay. Because I haven't given my top 4. They're not in my top 4.
They weren't in my top 5, I can tell you.
I will go so far as to say that in my grading, they finished bottom of the table. So they finished last in my grading
And
system.
you weren't the one to rate them 2 on 10.
Yeah, and I didn't give them 2 on 10 because I did not give them very high, but they were low. But now that I've sat back, looked at all different parameters, the reason is that it's an okayish squad for me. Each team will have certain average areas, certain very good and peak areas in different parameters. In RCB's case, all parameters, whether I looked at the batting, their spinners, their pacers, their backup, their captain, they were average in all these things. So, which is why, you'd be hoping against hope. Livingston has been in form, okay. You'll have one
Salt.
between Patidar and Devdutt particular play. Salt, I don't know which, Salt is going to turn up. Virat is good, but is he that same Virat who can win? He'll get you a lot of runs, but can he now single-handedly win you games like he was doing for 2016? I do not know. Tim David, again, hit and miss. Krunal has had a dip.
Yeah.
Yash Dayal on his day can be expensive. Suyash, very untested if you're playing him in your 11. Hazelwood, Bhuvneshwar, again, Bhuvneshwar also not the peak. His career graph's going down. Again, Hazelwood's never had a great IPL in that sense. Again, you're playing in a track where you leak a lot of run. All of that put together, they've actually finished in my grading system
I in
bottom
fact
of the
had a
table.
very interesting observation while I was looking at all the squads closely. They perhaps had the most players who are again on the fringes or don't even make their national 11. There's a Krunal,
Yeah.
there's a Dayal, there's a David, there's a Suyash. And a Jitesh at the moment.
Although David is playing in
He's
the
in and
Australian
out.
side.
He's in and out. Livingston also sort of made it to the list because he's also in and out. But look at all the one common thread through all of them is they can all be inconsistent at the same time. You don't know which Krunal turns up. You don't know about
Other than
Livingston.
Virat, most will be inconsistent.
Exactly.
Virat will be the
so
only one.
just count the
That's
number of players.
typical RCB.
Also Jitesh had a good season last year, but then he made it to the Indian team, was then again shown the door. He's there perhaps second choice, third choice as things stand right now. But Livingston, Krunal, Dayal, David, Suyash, 5 players, that's 45-50% of your team that you don't know about, and they don't have that kind of international experience as well. So while they don't have, and they don't even, by the way, have the one thing that they have thrived upon over all the years that you mentioned, that they'd be top heavy. They're not top heavy also anymore.
Okay, so final team to be picked, and that's my team, which just pipped Delhi Capitals by a very fine margin.
Can I guess, because there's a team that I also ranked 5th. Let's see if there's a
sure,
swap.
yeah.
Is it the Rajasthan Royals?
No, it's not. It is
SRH.
the Punjab Kings.
Ah.
They went big with the auction. They've assembled a good team, and this is a common sort of a feeling we all had when we were looking back. But the other thing that comes with Punjab is they always assemble a good team,
Yes.
but something happens to them, and
They-
that might very well happen. I'm
was
not
al-
saying.
Once I was when I was analyzing their squad again, the one thing that came in the way of me looking at them as fairly as I did the others is because they're Punjab Kings and because they've had teams as good looking in the past as
Sure.
well.
No,
So
you want Australian Kings, not Punjab Kings.
So again, the cohesion somewhere goes missing for Punjab. Very good side. They reminded me actually of the GT side the first year that they put together. Again, match winners everywhere, well-rounded team. So they made it. But I just could not stop myself from seeing them the way that they are and the legacy that they have.
So the reason I put them is because once again I think they've got a good balance, much like you had in Delhi. So when I'm looking at batting, the spinners, I think Pacers, Delhi versus Punjab, I rated them similar. In fact, batters and spinners, I rated Delhi marginally higher. But where they actually really took that slight edge compared to Delhi was the backup. I didn't think Delhi had enough backup. Punjab's packed their squad with enough backup for most sort of slots, I feel. And then they will be going in, whatever said and done, with an IPL winning captain.
Sure,
And the guy who also took them to a final, the Delhi Capitals previously. So comes with that experience, with a Ricky Ponting in tow. I think if they get the right environment, very close with Delhi. But looking at what they've got, I think they've got perhaps similar. I think English will open with them. Shreyas give them solidity. But I'm also hoping that both Maxwell, Stoinis fire as you expect them to fire. So the big difference could come if you get a Maxwell of last season, then they're gone. But if you get a Maxwell of 3 seasons ago, then
2021.
Yeah,
then if you get a Stoinis of last season, you're doomed.
So you could get any, but they're bowling again with Arshdeep. They'll have a Jansen in form. Vijay Kumar Veshak could be very good. 3 of them. Yuzi being your spinner in
Harpreet Brar also.
Maxwell as your spinner coming in if he's good. Harpreet Brar is a backup.
Yep.
I'm looking at. So they've got.
They could even try opening with that Delhi boy Priyansh Arya.
Yeah.
Priyansh Arya hit 6 sixes in that 1 over in that DPL encounter.
Promising
guy.
I actually put him in backup, which is why their backups got a lot of points from me.
That's why.
So those things put together.
And they spent 3.8 crores on Priyansh Arya.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think he would be starting in my 11 if he
He's
starts.
going to be involved at some point for sure.
Yeah. But then the third, who is, okay, if I have to look at the Indian backup pacer, there is a Yash Thakur, there is a Kuldeep Sen, there is a Vijay Kumar Vishak. Vishak might be your prime starter. In
But a Kuldeep Sen and a Thakur, both not bad. I mean, if you're looking at
Yash Thakur bowled some very good overs for Lucknow Super Giants when he was there, and looking at it, even Kuldeep Sen, good death overs prospect also from Riva. So that's why. Yeah,
they've got good options. Now, what we're going to try and do, as we always do before we take your questions, we'll try and put a combined Sports Today top 4. So the ones that make it to all 4 will make it for sure. That's GT. Sorry, all 3. So GT comes in our Sports Today top 4 for sure, combined that we've got. Now, is there anyone else that made it to all 4? No.
All three, no.
But I see,
KKR made it to 2 teams, so maybe KKR can
and
go there.
CSK has made it to 2 teams.
And even MI.
And MI made it to 2 teams.
Great. So now it's
So that's
between-
done. It's done. It's done.
It's done.
So you've got KKR.
No, 1 slot left.
No, KKR, CSK, MI. Both made it to 2 teams.
Two teams,
Yeah,
na?
no, 4th slot left, no?
No, done, na? GT, KKR, CSK, MI.
MI. Oh, GT is there. Sorry.
GT is
I
first.
understand.
Yeah.
So your 4 slots are done with the ones that made it the most. There are certain like a DC, like a PBKS, like an RCB that have made it once, but we have to go with a common
Is this
consensus.
coincidentally anyone's top 4?
No,
No.
no.
I have
Nobody.
3 or 4.
Even I have 3 or 4.
So
I
that
have
would have
GT, KKR, CSK.
I have 3. GT, CSK,
That's
MI.
fine. So 3 of all 4. So this is a combined Sports Today top 4 that we've gotten together. A GT, KKR, CSK, MI looks actually quite a good top 4. It could very well be the top 4.
I mean, maybe for the 4th spot, there is always a tussle for the 4th spot.
I have a question because I picked the wooden spooners.
Yeah.
I went with RCB as my wooden spooners.
Okay.
Did I not? When I told you that I've got at the
You've
bottom.
got 9th position. That's out of 10. Not the wooden spoon, but technically, yeah.
Yeah.
Wooden spooners in your case?
Okay, bottom of the table.
For me, it's PBKS.
PBKS finished last for
Last.
me. RCB finished last for me.
Yeah.
I'm afraid RCB.
RCB finished last for him as well.
Okay.
Just that's just
Yeah,
a guess.
yeah.
We'll see at the end of the season actually what really happened. So these are our no you don't have to give them. That's okay. That was just a
Please.
wild guess.
Yeah.
Proof. No, you've said it. Whatever you said never goes away from the internet. People will keep a chota sa clip and remind us also
Yeah.
later. Okay, let's quickly take some questions before we wind up as always. And let's see how good or a bad job we've done. We're always open for criticism, so no worries with that.
Yeah.
But the most important part of our entire interaction is we look forward to your perspective because it sometimes helps us see things differently. So what have we got here?
Yeah, let's.
I think I'll do a better job of doing it before.
Oh, no, we've got it. We got it. It was.
Okay, let us go. Who we starting with? Plenty of questions. Shubham Mishra. He says, hi all, this is my first comment here. Huge fan of Nikhil sir. Thank you so much, Shubham. Thank you for joining us. On KKR 11, which you guys made and you missed Vaibhav, who was instrumental. Yeah, we did, but I think he was as an option, right?
He is an option.
In our KKR 11, but he's not there in. I think I had done a slash that you could even go with a Vaibhav. So if you're not going with a Nokia,
Yeah, you could go with the
you could go with
Vaibhav.
Vaibhav,
Yeah.
and that's why I said that if the Narayan experiment doesn't work, you can play both QDK and Kurbaz. I mean, you can do something like that. So just some options that you can look at. But good point, Shubham.
Yeah.
Gava Ka Ghaman joins us from Australia. He says, you guys miss Rashid and G. Yes, I agree. Gava Ka Ghaman, and apologies for that.
Total. Yep.
हमारा भी घमंड टूट गया.
yes. Total.
See, again, I don't know how. See, it was a long night. We were here at 1 o'clock. We started early in the morning with the test match. But yeah, I don't know how that really happened.
Yeah.
And
That
in which-
was our BGT edition of Brain Fade.
Yes.
No, but should not have. I mean, how and you know, interestingly, on day one when we were making our 11s, we had Rashid there when they hadn't even got the full team.
Yeah.
But it's just that, you know, when we had assigned one person to put the 11s on the thing, and it was done, and then we really didn't look at it back. But we should have. But thank you for your feedback.
Exactly.
Sarthak Arya, in my humble opinion, MI, SRH, DC, and LSG. He's a bit of a LSG fan, as he writes there. Should be in the top 4. MI, SRH, and DC have the best squads supporting LSG from this year onwards because Pant, Jahan, Hum Wahan. Oh
Pant.
my God, nice. Actually, that's the one thing that you see in IPL. People switch teams based on.
I don't like that though. I don't like that though.
Yeah.
Again, it's you know, it's like, you know, they say in football, the player never gets bigger than the club. So
I have never changed my football
can't,
team.
exactly. Yeah.
People come, people go.
Yes,
Teams
exactly.
teams always there.
Yep.
But I don't have an IPL team. I actually change teams based on whichever team I'm liking. It's got nothing to do with the player as such. It's just like I'm liking the look of the team.
Exactly.
Last time I was supporting Lucknow, but then what?
Year before that it was GT.
Then GT.
GT.
You
Yeah.
like the jersey that time, I believe.
No, they sent me a nice jersey with my name on it. So I was like, okay, let's support them.
Yeah.
So because of that.
Dhanush.
But I
is-
like Nehraji. He's an old friend of mine. I
Of course.
really enjoy his company. I spent a lot of time with him chatting generally. So I support him.
Did he give you any important advice?
No, he doesn't. Just mostly cricket only we talk about. Yeah, he gave me a lot of life advice about Goa. It was one time in my life I want to move there, so I was seeking advice from him.
Because he says no, important decisions तो सारे मैं लेता हूँ. जैसे phone कौन सा लेना है. The फालतू decisions in life की which school
No,
kids
no,
have
no.
to go to.
No, he said no. No, he said all the big decisions I take, like Prime Minister कौन होना चाहिए क्या होना.
हाँ,
All
like
the
phone
small
कौन सा ले,
decisions.
small,
is-
like, yeah, that is wife
phone,
takes.
That's what he had said.
Yeah.
Dhanush.
Yeah, RCB fans beat me physically. That's why 2 out of 10. Nothing like that. I mean, see.
Hey, they sent him garlands and all. Look at today's.
Done a
No,
360 degree U-turn.
It's not a U-turn. I mean,
This is the mother of U-turns, Siddharth.
see, just because I gave
Pawan,
them,
what do you have to say? One sec. Pawan, what do you say about
you're
this?
asking. I will then beat him up then if he says anything.
For the top 4 putting RCB on top.
It's not applicable. NA for you.
NA for me. नहीं पवन तू बाहर मिल. Okay, so look, I mean, just because I rated the auction poorly, if you are an RCB fan, then please explain to me, despite poor auctions, how you've been making it to the playoffs. You will get your own answer in that sense.
Okay, next question comes from Mankind Engineer. He says, Nikhil uncle, who will be RCB skipper? Your nephew.
Is he?
No, I don't have any nephew called. I have nephews, but I have nobody called Mankind Engineer. So, no, if
Yours nephew.
that's okay. You
Okay.
can excuse his apostrophes if he's my nephew indeed. Come on, you can be kind to him. But who will be RCB skipper? Just answering that question, I think this is the best time, best opportunity for Virat to lead. I think it'll fire him up as a batter as well in T20 cricket. I think the team needs him, the team needs his energy, and I think he was a pretty decent captain before he just announced one day that he doesn't want to be. I saw no reason why he should have quit as RCB captain. I think it had something to do with what was transpiring in India captaincy at that time.
Yeah.
But now it's all settled. He's getting hundreds. So get back. Why not?
Yep.
You have any other options there?
No.
There are like
See, there is Bhuvaneshwar, there is Krunal.
yeah.
But again, making them will be the ultimate left field selection as the captain of RCB. That too, fans want.
Could be like CSK.
I
Captain
mean,
can be anybody.
it can be, but Virat, the
You said
personality.
that day that RCB, whoever is the captain, one person. No, Shashwat person.
Shashwat, sir.
He's not here.
He's not here. Yes. So that's why I see Virat, the personality is very difficult to overlook him. And this is, I guess, see, now he's desperate to win the IPL title. He will be the captain. He led them to the final. Yes, he led them to a lot of playoffs. Didn't do well there. He's also been having 2 wooden spoon finishes in 17 and 19. But that's what you give with IPL captains. Every team, if you look at it, has had low finishes in the IPL. So you give that with him. No one got serial listening. Sid, problem with classical format is Ding can just play out draws now and be champion. This is the issue with classic format, why Carlson got bored.
But there's so many games. He can't pull out a draw for so many games.
Yeah.
It's like towards the end, you can agree, like, 5-6 games to go.
I mean, I understand where it's coming from because see, when Magnus and Caruana played, at that time everything went to a draw for 14 games and then you had a tiebreaker. So that is why. But see, Carlson wanted innovation in the World Chess Championship. For example, what I would think of is play 3 classical games, then have a rapid blitz in the middle and then play classical. Some kind of innovation, say Fisher random chess. 960 different kind of moves, you keep the pieces in a random way. But they don't want to do that, so that's why.
He's got another question. He says, KKR, same problem in 21, same core,
Changed captains. But they did make it to the final though. They did.
I picked them to make the final with GT winning the title.
For Techie VP is like VIP is saying, Techie VIP. For CSK, the power hitting batsman is missing. Shivam, Jadeja, Sam Curran and MSD can cover. Your view on this?
I think they can.
Yeah, Shivam Dubey, Sam Curran is the floater. He can be asked to bat at 3 also if the situation
You know,
demands.
I think the reason he did not really work with Punjab because you gave him captaincy and he was trying to play that guy who's going to control innings. I seriously don't think he's that. He should be allowed to just play cameos. I think then there is utility. Shivam Dubey has been your hitter.
Yes.
Jadeja, when allowed that freedom to play that way you can. And I think the one thing that CSK has changed in the last few years, if you notice, I think from 2-3 seasons they've started packing their batting with, especially with the impact sub. They bat till 9 most games. So then everyone has to play with that free hand, including an MS Dhoni.
Yeah.
Come attack. That's what. So I think they can come.
By the way, speaking of RCB captaincy options, there is one name, Jitesh Sharma.
He was the vice captain in Punjab Kings.
Punjab was in fact the one who had gone for that pre-tournament shoot as well, but it was Sam Curran who was made the captain.
Yeah, Jitesh was. But again, RCB too difficult. Very difficult.
Mr. Shekhar GTN from the US joins us. He says, good morning, gents. Good morning to you as well. He says his brain says MI, CSK, LSG, SRH. So heart, lungs, kidney say GAT. We've got GT there in our. In fact, all 4 picked. No, that was the only team that all 3 of us picked. Sorry. So it's there. He's gone with GT, DC, PBKS, and LSG. That seems a tough one. Couldn't believe my ears for 16 hours after no Rashid in the.
Well, that is going to be.
That's never going to leave.
It's never going to leave us.
Never. Ever.
Yep. And we will face it. I mean, it is a mistake. And we own up to it.
Okay.
Serial, no one got serials but the same
We've taken
comment.
that question.
Yeah, he sent the same comment 2 times again.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Very
the one
Chinese.
thing is, same problem for KL. Others fail, he can't play free. No one got serials saying.
No, but see, again, there have been different versions of KL at different times. There have been occasions where he's played free as well. He's hammered the hell out of the opposition team in the T20 format for India as well as in the IPL. That's why his strike rate is at 140. It couldn't have been otherwise. And he's got bulk of runs. I mean, 2-3 seasons finishing at the highest run
600
getter.
plus runs, yeah.
So he can do both. It's just that he needs clarity. I think the team environment makes a difference. It was quite clear that he wasn't really getting that kind of team environment in the earlier franchise, but he is getting it now.
Go down further.
I think we've taken that one.
Yeah, that one's taken. Mayur
I
Kashyap.
am doing a live in digital.
Yeah.
I'll call you in 2 minutes. I'm just finishing that.
Is it true whether Edgbaston is the only ground where Asian teams are yet to win a test? I'm referring to grounds where all 3 Asian nations have played tests. Okay, Pakistan, I'll have to check. I mean, suddenly on top of my mind, I can't recollect. India haven't done well in Edgbaston.
We'll have to do.
Sri Lanka lost in 2006, as much as I remember. But then, yeah, as far as Pakistan is concerned, I have to check for Edgbaston. So,
We'll get back Mayur with that one.
yeah. Kushal Agrawal, I disagree with Sid. KKR 2024 was the ultimate team of IPL till now. So many reasons. Unlucky to lose out on Salt, but still covered all bases for 25. He's saying that Mumbai Indians 2020, I thought, was the ultimate super team.
So
He's saying
that
KKR
of
2024 was that.
No, I go with the Mumbai Indians.
Mumbai.
That was Galacticos.
Yeah,
It was actually.
exactly.
Truly was. Galaxy.
In
full
fact, that
stars.
season, I remember before the season started, I looked at the team and said, if this team doesn't win the IPL, pack up and go home.
Exactly. What a team that was.
yeah.
Sarthak Arya once again, he shared, okay. His 11 for LSG, he says Marsh, Pant, Markram, okay, Pant opening,
Opening,
he says.
okay.
Puran
We switched it around, but yeah.
yeah, Puran at 4,
Yeah.
Miller, Badoni, Samad, Shehbaz, Bishnoi, Mohsin,
Mayank.
Mayank. Impact players Avesh Khan or Akashdeep.
Yeah.
It's more or less the same team that
Yeah,
we
yeah,
got with.
exactly.
7 bowling options and batting till number 8. How would you rate this? It is good. It is
Yeah,
good.
we did. It's a good team, yeah. But they've kind of gone mid-table for me. I looked at their team, but kind of mid-table for me. Okay. Pranit Datta. This was a pleasant surprise from you, Nikhil. Wasn't expecting someone to pick PBKS. PBKS will rock this year.
Yeah.
Sid again is going after them.
How many times have we seen this beautiful castle only to find
In
nothing?
fact, I was struggling with that also. Like when I did the grading as I was in my own formula, very detailed at that, and then it came in my top 4. I was like, do I even say it? Because they come in, and then there are certain teams which have everything, all the ingredients on paper, but then when you go, they don't, and then that's been the problem with PBKS. But then I had to trust the grading system and say it, hoping that one day they play to their potential, and I was just looking at the potential.
Exactly.
Naval Singh says, should IPL auction be discontinued for transfers, much like you happen?
In
I
football.
would be in agreement with that.
I don't want that. I
mean,
think again, the talk around football for a while now, since that Neymar transfer has been much about how everything's just become about money, and how certain clubs in the last 2 decades have risen because of sheer money power.
But then
PSG,
you
Man
don't
City
get
are
those
prime
scores,
examples.
no? You don't get those scores.
I would
Keep
say-
changing
And when it comes to money power, if you bring that here in the IPL as well, then we know there's only a couple of teams that can only compete, and ultimately we know which ones will.
Or then
I
maybe
would
have
say-
maybe have a like you have
Transfer
this transfer cap.
Transfer cap. Discontinue the mini auction. Only have mega auctions after 3 years. Don't have the mini auctions.
And have trading in the middle.
Yes.
Inter trading, I
Yeah.
think, is something that could be
Because that is something which the BCCI wanted to trial, right? The
Yeah,
trading
trading
thing.
window, trading window.
Maybe this will help. Because you have a mini auction, I know that, okay, why should I trade? I have the mini auction anyways where I can do some tweaking. Discontinue the mini auction, have only the mega auction. And then in between those 3 years, trade window open for 1 month. Whoever you want to trade, like how they do in football, do that. Yep.
transfer window.
Okay.
Transfer window,
Can you go down, please? He's busy.
Yeah.
A lot of work today. Okay. Final comment for tonight. He says no. KKR changed captain midway in 21 and went to the final. Yeah.
They did.
Yes.
And it's not the first time. It did happen even with Morgan and Dinesh Karthik also, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
But I think it was
When-
2-3 seasons before, if I'm not mistaken.
No, that's the one I think he's talking about.
Maybe,
that is the season
yeah,
where
that's the season.
Russell then started complaining that I don't know, ask the captain where I'm batting. He was batting too low.
Oh,
down the order.
yes,
Karthik
yes.
was captain. And
Correct,
there was
correct.
a lot of issue with that. That's the season. he's
That's the
talking
season,
about.
yep. Could have won it had it not been an injury. They could have won it. So, yes, CSK were very, very lucky there.
On that note, thank you very much for joining us this evening. As always, we've tried our best to put together our own unbiased opinion as who we think will make the top 4. I hope you enjoyed it. Tomorrow, normal service resumes. We'll go back to BGT. Lot to
BGT.
discuss on that as well. Still soaking in India's good performance. Anything else you want to say? Anything under the sun? Ding and Gukesh all well?
It's a draw, game 2. So, tomorrow is the last game before the rest day. So,
How was
Gautam Gambhir has come back for some personal reason. He'll be
personal.
back before the start of
how did the weekend go for Barcelona?
A 2-2 draw. It's fine, still leading the. Where are you in the league?
I'm not even checking right now.
I hope
we're on
you're
top.
escaping relegation.
Barca is on top.
Really.
They're leading.
Yeah. But he's himself mentioned, Amorim, that it will take a lot
will
of
take
time to
He
fix
said
the
a
issues
few
in
things
Manchester United.
For the record, again,
But
people
Har-
had doubts about what that playing formation would be. You saw that?
But Harshad, you should be incredibly happy because your neighbors across town are having the worst slump under Pep Guardiola.
5 games.
But they've
on
now
the
had an
trot.
extension they've given him, and he's asked them to promise them to give their best.
Yep. So we are reaching even the end of certain sports seasons also. F1 only 2 more seasons are remaining. 2 more races, sorry. Yeah. 2
But
more
he's already
races.
world champions crowned, so what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, have the race.
Constructors is still wide open. So.
Okay, on that note, take care, guys. Bye bye, good night, Nandri, Vadakkam, Shubhra.
Ratri, Shabba khair, eat your vegetables, don't trouble your mother, and stay safe.
And stay tuned to Sports Today.
Less pollution today, by the way. There's a lot of breeze.
Fingers
Pollution is
crossed.
on. Schools are starting.
Air is
tomorrow.
no longer in the severe category. now.
Yeah.
It's poor, even though that's not
Poor
saying
is
that.
good for us.
Well, I hope
saying
it
much.
stays like this.